Welcome to 100 Hyperreal Horror Stories. The excitement will start soon, the ultra-real horror file. The Crematorium All Heard. Chapter 1. When I was working in the crematorium the year before last, I learned that there are many unwritten taboos in this crematorium. One of them is that the dead must be respected. I have always been young and the living. I seldom take these taboos seriously and always treat them as feudal superstitions in the city until I was almost scared to death because of violating taboos. Only then did I change my mind. One morning at 8 or 9 o'clock, I was cleaning the mulberry dishes in front of the morgue. I heard from the onlookers that the last funeral today was a little girl or a high school student. He committed suicide because of something. And my heart moved. Since I entered the crematorium, I have always wanted to take a good look at the dead. But the deceased is usually in his 50s or 60s, with a dry face and a look that can be improved, and there is nothing to look at, such a young lady. It was really the first time I met me. I hurriedly squeezed into the mortuary, came to the corridor, and saw a trundle bed at the end. There was a young girl lying in the cardboard coffin above. The corridor was very dim, and his cheeks were covered with flower petals. I can't really see his appearance, but I can only recognize him. He is only 17 or 18 years old, with a round face and a sharp point. But that head of thick long hair is pitch black, fluffy, and loose, which makes people feel distressed when they see nothing. Oh, it's such a pity to die at such a young age. Next to him are his distraught parents, who are washing their face in class, choking silently. I was also very sad when I saw it. I am in my 30s and haven't found a partner yet. Instead, he committed suicide here. What a waste. As if aware that my thoughts are not worthy of admiration. The mother glanced at me with tears in her eyes, and I suddenly remembered the taboo of respecting the dead in the crematorium. And the thought just now might make the deceased unhappy. And I couldn't help but feel a forest in my heart. Just happened to finish dropping the mulberry pot outside. I squeezed out quickly. I originally wanted to get closer and take a closer look. It's a pity that before I could see it, I was dragged away by Ling Che. After I finally finished cleaning, I ran to my lover Lou's compound next door to leave and asked. The cremation has been completed. Such a young and beautiful face, painted into a handful of white ashes, is no different from the ashes of an old and ugly beggar. And this cremation means the end of his short life forever in my eyes. I really can't see it anymore. I went to the computer in the office where the ashes certificate is issued and checked it. I see, that girl's name is Jia Yuan, and her ashes are placed near the window on the first floor of the bungalow. Fortunately, I can still see a photo when I was shocked in the columbarium in the afternoon, and I walked out of the columbarium office. A delicate voice sounded from behind, "Excuse me, big brother. Come to the columbarium." How to go? I looked back, my eyes lit up, and I saw a beautiful girl appearing in front of me. He looked very delicate, as if he had seen it somewhere, and he was very young. He looked only 17 or 18 years old. She is as delicate as a spring morning flower, as quiet as a lake under the moonlight, and her snow-white dress highlights her delicacy even more. I can't help others not giving birth to love and affection, but it looks golden and melancholy in the strong sunlight. It seemed that he was only suitable for the dark night and couldn't stand the heat of the sun, so I hurriedly pointed out to him in detail. The road to Guateng also told him where the office of Guru's depository is. I talked too much, and he seemed to be unable to remember so much for a while. I led him to a small door, pointed to the bungalows and buildings of Guateng, and told him how to go. He thanked me with a smile. That kind of smile made me feel better. And the sadness caused by Jia Yuan just now was wiped away. Then I happily went out to eat. At that time, I absolutely did not think that the kind guidance this time would almost kill me. To my elder sister. All the formal staff of the crematorium are off work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I started farming in the courtyard of the ancient synagogue, and I was drowsy all afternoon until dusk. Manager Shin brought a group of people and unlocked the bungalow of the columbarium. Normally, you are not allowed to open the door to anyone who comes to see the ashes after work. Besides, I don't have a key, but if someone has a background, such as someone with a relationship with the mayor or the director of the Civil Affairs Bureau, the ashes managers will open the door to see them. If you can't contact the staff at the storage office for a while, and you can't get the key, you can only break the lock and wait for them to read the ashes. The twilight was so thick that the flowers couldn't bloom. Manager Shin was eager to have dinner with the guests and had no time to find Suwato. Just hang the change lock on the nose of the door, and in the blink of an eye, it looks like Mahazu's lock, Manager Shin assured me. I don't have to be responsible even if things are lost. I watched them leave. At this time, the courtyard is full of verdant pines and white, forming a blurred shadow, which can't be distinguished. I was just about to go back to my place for dinner when I suddenly caught a glimpse of something white in the bushes. My heart skipped a beat. Hey, isn't it scary to be human when you come in? What if this is not a living person? I searched the bushes, shadows everywhere, but found nothing. I'm finally sure. I was just dazzled just now, so I returned to my residence, completely unaware that I was already in great danger. After dinner and watching TV for a while, I woke up early. In the middle of the night, I had to go around again. I was sleeping soundly, and when I heard a light knock on the door, I got up and looked outside. Oops. You can't help but look at it. This is a crematorium. In the middle of the night, who knows whether it is a person or a ghost knocking on the door? He saw a squeaky young girl standing outside. Her white skirt was like snow. Her body was slender. Half of her face was covered by a pot of flowers, but I can still see his pointed jaw and round face. Although I don't know him, I can see it. He is alive. I quickly opened the door, and he walked in slowly, still holding the flowers and half covering her face. My hut is only 9 square meters, except for a bed and a bed. I can only put a dilapidated TV. There are 2 round covered chairs, and he sat on the small bed. His upper body stopped straight, and he looked at me with bright eyes. He said that he was introduced to me by others. Who introduced him? He said it was the 4th Aunt Xiongkong. I have nothing to do with Xiongkong. People say that Xiong has a bad temper, and now he is secretly doing good things for me. It seems that there are still many good people in the world. Dear listeners, this episode is over. Summer is even more exciting.